number 5. Welcome, everyone. We just crossed 1 month successfully, and this is our fifth episode. So excited to talk. So
Yep.
excited to talk to you all today. I'm just opening today, and you can see I'm excited and nervous, so it's all good. But I'm
Excited and nervous.
excited and nervous, but it's all good. I just had a topic that I want to bring it because something I want to open with in terms of tariffs, right? Tariffs is the topic, but I don't want to talk about tariffs as such. I want to get the perspective clear out. I want to open with tariffs and close with tariffs on the topic. I want to be very clear on where
We're
I am
not going to
standing
talk
in terms
about
of
tariffs one
tariffs.
time.
But
Talk about
tariffs
it
are
twice.
twice, yeah. Tariffs on any side. I think my humble opinion on that is I think the end of the day, I think people get affected because of tariffs, right? I mean, the real victims are everyday people and business owners, and what takes $5 now costs like $30.
Yeah.
I think that's always been a problem. I've lived in
No.
India for a long time. I've seen tariffs because if I have to buy even a Honda CRV, it costs twice or thrice as much as I would in the United States or elsewhere, right? So tariffs are not good for the producer, for the business owner, for the everyday people. It's not good. That's my stand on that. It affects Americans.
It drives people away. Yeah, it drives
Yeah.
people away from a product.
Yeah, because
Absolutely. And we don't want Canadian products.
yeah. And that being said, it affects Americans, it affects Canadians. Wherever tariffs are, it affects people. So that's what I want to open with. That being said, my topic is not about tariffs. I want to talk about something because I don't believe in hate because I'm in the camp of bringing people together, not the opposite.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the two most hated people on the planet today. And I just like a thought experiment and see why that is actually happening, right? That's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen today and then let's go. So we all know this person, Elon Musk. He was the Time Person of the Year in 2021, right? And I've been following him from
Rocket.
when he had. Are you able to see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I've been following him when he had 30 or 40 or 40 million followers or something. Today he has close to 220 million followers. That doesn't mean anything, but at the same time, it means something also, right? And how, I mean, he was the most loved person. I mean, he was like in 2021 when he was not talking politics, when he was not supporting anyone, right? I mean, just some backstory and context here is Elon voted for Obama, Hillary, and Biden, right, in 2020. That's his voting pattern. He has declared that in multiple forums and podcasts multiple times. So that's his voting pattern. What happened actually? He said, freedom of speech is the bedrock of democracy. What happened then? I think that is fundamental. It's basic, actually. I mean, freedom of speech is the bedrock of democracy. I think we can all agree to that. And he also did something drastic in terms of he went and bought a sink and took it to the Twitter's headquarters and said, okay, fine, I'm let that sink in. And he bought Twitter for a cheap $44 billion. I don't know why he did that. Anyway, right? So this is Elon.
I know.
And I want to talk about Trump. Actually, Trump was one of the most loved media person ever. I mean, you remember this scene from the Home Alone series, and right? I mean, everyone used to love Trump. I mean, he was a famous media person. He has to be in the Saturday Night Live. He has done multiple such SNLs with the NBC or otherwise. He was the most adored person. But what happened? I don't really know what happened actually. You remember this photograph on the state dinner with Obama? Something happened here. I don't know what really happened. And also something very
I know what
drastic
happened.
happened. Yeah. And something
You
very
hear the
drastic.
speech?
100%. I did. Something very drastic happened
That was
here.
it.
And something very, very drastic happened here. Right. So these are the two used to be most loved people. Now they are the most hated people. I just don't understand why that is happening. Okay. Let all that aside. Just want to summarize my thoughts here. Tulsi Gabbard, right? Tulsi Gabbard, in terms of she was a former Democrat politician, and I think she switched sides and it took a lot for her to switch sides. And now she's the director of national intelligence in the US. And same with Robert F. Kennedy, Bobby Jr. I mean, his entire family is a Democrat family, and we all know his history. We have an airport in his uncle's name, John F. Kennedy, and his entire family is a Democrat family. And it was a huge undertaking for him to switch sides with Trump. I mean, even beyond Tulsi, I think it was that. And Elon, I just shared the voting pattern that he had, right? All said and done, that's, I think, fundamentally something really, really wrong. And I think I just want people to give a thought experiment, right? It's something I shared you during the election result of Trump. I just wanted to share a thought experiment and give it a try. Just a little homework if you're curious, right? Here's what it is. So if you do not understand Trump, try understanding JD Vance. Right? If you do not understand JD Vance, try with Vivek Ramaswamy. If you don't like Vivek Ramaswamy or don't understand him, try with Tucker Carlson or Charlie Kirk here. Or try with Megyn Kelly or Candace Owens or comic Dave Smith. Or try Patrick Bet-David. Or if not, try Elon Musk. Try Robert Kennedy Jr. Try Tulsi Gabbard. Try Joe Rogan. I think you get the context here. There's always a way to understand. The real question is, did you try? Okay, here's the real challenge, right? If you're not convinced, here's the real challenge. Pause watching traditional news for a month or two. This is something I shared like in November. I still stand by it. Pause watching traditional news for a month or two and just follow the folks on X. Create an account today and try that. Hear what they have to say. Watch the long form conversations on podcasts. Then draw your own opinion after that. This is what I encourage anyone to do it. And all the best. I've never been political, like I said before, but I really feel strongly that I think if they give it a shot, they'll really understand. And that being said, I don't believe in hate. Hate is propaganda. It's always funded by something. And I'm a believer of unity is strength. That's where I come from. And I want to now close it back with the tariffs. Tariffs are bad. It affects everyday people and business owners and whatnot. I'm not for tariff because it hurts everyone. So that's where I come from. Give it a thought.
It's an interesting concept because, I'll be honest, like even as a Canadian watching, the election, the US election, I was rooting for Trump, right? Like I can see why, people in the States wanted him as a leader. They wanted some real change, and that's what he was promising. What is interesting to me is, and Brian, I pose this question to you. What if that real change, like was he advocating for massive tariffs? Like I don't remember that being part of the platform. And
No.
I kind of feel like on a certain level, by him enacting this, he is very much going against the platform that he campaigned on, which was making life better for Americans. I don't see how this makes life better for anybody. And I'm very interested, what the voting base or like what people are thinking at this point, because I know there's a lot of Americans thinking, I didn't vote for this. This wasn't part of the promise.
Oh, so what's your question?
I guess the question is,
make America great again.
No. The question is ultimately, was that part of his platform? Like, do you remember listening to him when he was making those speeches, talking about how he's going to put 25% tariffs on Canada? And
not on poor Canada.
Yeah.
Golly. It was China. It was Mexico. It was where we were losing jobs too. So it was proposed, and I think that honestly, the American people have been taxed far too much, and our money, as you know, is going out the back door. And as an American, as a Texan. I moved from a state. I didn't grow up here in Texas. From Salt Lake City, Utah, northern Utah. So I'm a mountain boy like you. And there was state income tax. And I remember I didn't even formulate I'll get to your question just a minute. I didn't even formulate a political stand until I was like 25, 26. Yeah. But, at 18, 17, first job, got your first check, and you do the calculations in your head, and you're like, it should be this, and then you get it, and it's not, because they don't teach you about taxes in school, right? And I was like, wait a minute, who is FICA, and who is Utah income tax? Who is federal income tax? And I just thought to myself, I was like, that's kind of unfair. What did I get out of that? And to make matters worse, 2007 is when I got my first job. Well, 2008, housing market crash happened. So then the economy goes in the toilet, and I have absolutely no time to prepare for that. And so then that's like I'm getting taxed, and then the guys that are in the lead and are the leaders are the ones to blame for this. And so I'm like, wait, you're taking my money, and then now you lost it. And now I'm even worse off. So to me, then I was like, okay, taxation is theft. And I didn't even know that was a thing until I moved here to Texas. And the reason I say that is during the election cycle this past year, he did say abolishing the IRS, which is the Internal Revenue Service, which is the federal, it's not even federal, actually. It's not even a government entity. It's a third-party collection agency. And they abolished the IRS, no federal taxes. Well, I moved from Utah, a year after the economy crashed. I was like, I got to get out of here because I need to save some money. I need to save on taxes. So I moved to Texas. And then when he started saying that, people started saying, oh my goodness, the more I make, the more you penalize me. Like it's almost, it should be the opposite, right? The more you make, you need a reward, you need a carrot. Well, they're poking you in the eye with a carrot. And so he had said to abolish the IRS and change it to a tariff tax system because I don't remember how many presidents ago, but in 1913 is when the federal tax came into being. Before that, it was all tariffs. It was all, taxing imports and exports. And that was taxing not only another country, but that was taxing another entity that is trying to bring in goods because we couldn't make it here. And so his base, or the people that voted for him, wanted to save money because that's a huge tax bill. Yeah. And it's not fair, but also I don't think it's fair on the opposite side, but there has to be some way to skin the cat the correct way, but you're not going to please everyone, right? But unfortunately, he's the president of the United States of America, not the world.
Yeah.
So his primary concern is for the citizens, and I greatly appreciate that. Do I want to go to war? Do I want to? No. I just, come on, let's make a good deal. And those trade deals were not good. They were taking even more money out. We can go really deep into politics and tell you why they do that, and they send all of the money overseas because it's easier to steal money from an impoverished company or impoverished country, and the guy that they're sending the check to, and he can hide it for you or give it back to you, as you vote to give them aid. So there's a lot of money in politics, and the United States citizens, that is probably the number one reason. My fiance, I don't know her political affiliation. She's like, I just kind of like, in the middle. Yeah. But I call her a fence sitter. I was like, you got to pick a side. She's like, well, some things are this and some things are that. I was like, all right, whatever. But she said right before the election, and I knew, she not so much didn't like Trump, but didn't like some of the things he said. And I don't like everything. But she looked at me and said, well, Trump's going to win. And she voted early voting before me. Didn't even tell me she voted. And I asked her, and she's like, nah, it's a private answer. And she didn't tell me. Oh, wow. But she told me that Trump was going to win. And when she said that, I was like, yes, it is, And anyway, the reason I say that is that was someone else has to pay, but it needs to be a fair deal. It's like you give, I give, mutually beneficial. The best thing in sales, as I'm the sales guy, is less friction, more sales. It is a joint venture or a goal alignment is, hey, you're going that way, I'm going that way. Let's ride together. Let's carpool and split gas to get there. Right. That needs to be, it's reciprocal. It's like you do this, I do this. But he's using tariffs to incentivize the American businesses who have left manufacturing outside of the United States, removed it, and went to other countries where it is quite cheaper to live, and so it's quite cheaper to find somebody that's willing to work for less. And that actually, then our money goes out of the country. It's almost like putting a tennis ball in a bowl and then you take the tennis ball out and you throw the tennis ball away. Well, it's not in the bowl, so it doesn't cycle around, so that money's gone.
Mhm.
We don't know. We don't know what it turns into. It just disappears. And so if you have manufacturing here, it's more secure, and we get a little bit more money. You keep more money because our dollar's been devalued a lot because they're just printing money. But yeah, well, there's a big rabbit hole. I don't know if I answered your question, but we voted for not screwing over the American taxpayer.
Yeah.
And
no,
if it's tariffs, to use it as leverage to get manufacturing back here, and then it's removed, or it's used as a deal. You got to remember, he's a deal man. He's a commercial real estate guy.
Yeah.
He's going to make a deal.
I
And
just
he's going to scare out the deal.
yeah,
And
I
that's
just
what
want
these
to
tariffs are. All it is tariffs. It's just scaring out the deal.
100%.
Like, okay,
I
you
just,
don't like that. What you got?
yeah, I just want to inject a quick thought and then like throw it back at like Kelly or Colin or Brian. Like a quick thought is like, I used to live in Pennsylvania for about a good 5 years, right? I mean, we had friends and family come from Toronto to Pennsylvania, do the shopping multiple times, not once, like 5 or 6 or 7, multiple times they have done that. And I always used to wonder, okay, why is that? Okay, what about Canada? I was not living in Canada at the time, just for clarity, right? Then we took residency in Canada, then we moved to Canada and everything. So we used to shop a lot in the US and everything. What we understood, it was like a switch, right? What we understood, the exact same product, what costed like probably $6 or $7 or $8. I think in Walmart, I believe the exact same product. I forget what product it was. It was some kind of plastic, okay? Some $6 or $7 or $8. The exact same product costed like $24 in a Walmart in Toronto. I mean, this was like in 2018, I'm talking about pre-COVID, no tariff, none of this. I always thought it was always more expensive. I mean, like you guys have done it a lot. You've crossed the border, did a lot of shopping and came back. Why? I think it was probably better to shop in the US for whatever reasons. It was more affordable, cost effective, and things like that. I always felt like, I mean, when I was taking a shower this morning, looks like maybe there was some kind of tariffs always in Canada through indirect means, through taxation or something, actually, because it was always cheaper across the border, isn't it? So I just wanted to throw it back at you, like
Prescription medication. Great example. Great example.
Yeah, medicines are cheaper here. Yeah, that's right. Medicines are cheaper here. Yeah, but all the other products have always been expensive in Home Depot, Costco, any, not just American corporation, even otherwise. I wonder why that was the case. If it's the same product, should probably cost, if it's $8, $10 is reasonable. It shouldn't cost like $24. That didn't make sense to me.
Colin, what's your take?
Mine's a little different just because of the whole, as a whole, my issue with it is not a tariff. Like Brian said, tariffs have been around for a lot longer than I have been. The issue lies in the USMCA that was designed by the same president that's acting like that's not an agreement that he wrote. And he's throwing that out with the dishwater and just saying we're starting over because this is what's good for us. But that's what was good for them. And that's fine. That's what's happening. We'll deal with it. The hard part becomes if you're going to use a tariff and say it's because things need to be equal, I agree. If you're going to use a tariff and slap it on and some bullshit comment about fentanyl coming from a country like Canada or immigration, it's not happening and everyone knows it's not happening. So just say it the way it is. Say it's dollar for dollar. The other thing is when you have 360 million people versus 40 million people,
right?
There's no deficit. You gotta look at dollar for dollar, right? The hard part for the American people that will happen, regardless of them wanting it to or not, no different than here, is you will never have another Dollar General store. You'll have a $10 general store. That's what it's going to cost. You bring all your goods. I understand. You bring your manufacturing home. You do all that. That comes at a cost. When they tried to move,
just move,
right? They do, right? I'll give you an example. When they moved car manufacturing from China to Mexico, it was for the USMCA, right? Or in auto parts, that type of thing. They moved it closer to the US because the US believed it was still cheaper for them to buy those products because it's coming out of the US. So long story short, I'm not going to belabor it. It is what it is. We're going to see rollbacks today already. It's already in the talks. They don't call them rollbacks. They call them negotiations. They're rollbacks. That's what it is. And shock and awe, whatever it may be, we'll see things happen. And then we'll move on. We'll see what happens there. For somebody to talk about the cost of eggs, let's talk about the real cost of a vehicle. Brian, it'll cost you $10,000 more for a vehicle. Not what we want, not what you want, right? The reality, you bring that factory back to America, that is all good and fine because you have them. That can't happen tomorrow. You can't shut down one economy and happen tomorrow. It's going to be 8 or 10 years away. Plan for that. And you know what? It's just the way it is. It's just, I don't believe we live in a world where it has to be sporadic. I read a very, very scary headline this morning that China said to the US, if you want a trade war, you'll have a trade war. If you want another war, we're prepared for that too. I don't think that's where anybody wants to go.
No.
That's what I think of that.
Not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Right?
No, it's not good. And I agree with you, Colin, 100%. The only thing is, if you remember, sorry, my assistant, my office assistant, she's so loud.
Voice AI assistant.
Yeah, my voice has. So if you remember, he was attacked for a year. This is not retribution. This is, we were in a civil war last year, but it wasn't with guns. It was an economic war between the people in power and the people that didn't have power, the people that hads and the have-nots. It was a cultural war. It was where are we going for the future of our country? And actually, everyone was betting on America to fail, whether you like it or not. You want the one in power, or not in power, but you want number one. You kind of want to see them fail, because it sucks how awesome they are, but we weren't, it wasn't going in the right direction. But right now, I think it gets dirty before it gets clean. So it's going to take time. Though. I agree with you.
But the reality was, nobody was at war with the United States. It was internal. Canada was not at war with the United States. No. It was an internal Democrat-Republican war, right? It's infighting, 100%.
Influence. Yeah, it was infighting, absolutely.
There was zero influence from the Canadian side, zero influence on this coming. And that's why I think Kelly asked, this was not part of the platform to be elected. Mm-hmm. The Canadian people were for that change 100%. They want him to be in. And you know what? January 20th, they wanted him to be in. January 20th, 1:01 a.m., they did not want him to be in. Right? They flipped a switch.
Yeah.
And something happened, and it's fine. Like, if I'm an American person right now, 100%, I want a leader that's going to stand up for me. He's going to tell me it's the golden age. That's what everybody wants, right?
Yeah.
No different than me.
It's been rough. I'll tell you, it's pretty expensive.
But the unfortunate part is fooling people and saying it's going to be a little bit of pain when you're a billionaire.
Well, I don't think it's fooling. I don't think it's fooling. And don't bring his money into it. That's silly. That's silly.
No. I'm not saying
that's
but I
silly.
have to.
He's a man making a decision.
He's a man making a decision for 360 million people, right? No different than I don't even care about the leadership part of it. I'm talking about the decision making part of it, right? And you watch what happens in the markets. It happened yesterday. It's happening today, right? There is a lot. It's all about money.
I think we're still in civil war.
Well, we wouldn't even. But the civil war.
We're still in civil war.
That's with the United States. It's not with Canada, right?
It's everyone stealing from us. Do you know how much money went out the door to other countries? USAID,
not to Canada,
like BS stuff. Well, actually,
so not to Canada, it didn't. We didn't have one handout. No handouts.
Yeah. Well, hey, well, it's not debate. This is authentic hustle. This is supposed to be empowerment. This is supposed to be positivity. Not get up the American's ass. Golly.
I mean, just
In
Go
fine
ahead.
form, there's 3 Canadians being happy and smiling, and Brian's attacking us. I'm just kidding.
I know. Actually, yes, behind closed doors. I am
Yeah.
the jerk.
Goodness.
Brian,
I have the
Brian-
stick right now.
I do
Brian,
have to-
Brian's having a civil war with
A
himself.
civil war.
Brian, you made some comments.
51st state.
Brian, you made
Hmm?
comments earlier
Hmm?
about the American people were sick of getting taxed to high health. Okay, I want you to understand every Canadian.
I bet you guys do.
Every Canadian feels the same way. We've seen our currency devalued on a level I've never seen in my lifetime. I'm sure Colin has never seen it,
Yeah,
right? Like we
Yeah, old man.
equally-
I'm not that old.
Well, you just said, like, Kelly's like, even Colin.
The point is that
Colin, how
everybody
was it
feels
in the
that way.
90s?
Everybody wants that.
How about in the 90s?
Everybody wants that, right? Like you're not alone. And I think the next election in Canada is also going to be about that because same thing. We've essentially had a Democrat government with the Liberals for the last 8 years, 10 years, and people are sick of losing all their money.
Probably
It's the
longer.
same thing. But
Yeah.
the point
Yeah.
is that I just think that the way of going about this that the Americans have taken, I'm not sure it'll have the effect. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I don't think it'll have the effect that you guys hoped for. That's all. Please, Colin.
I think we have the stick and we're using it. Colin, it's your turn.
It's my
Yeah.
turn.
Go
Okay, VJ, I told
Go
Kelly
back to
earlier-
tariffs.
I told Kelly earlier, I'm not talking about tariffs.
Sorry.
Well, and then you went into a passion-filled Trump hate speech.
I like Trump.
You know?
I like
No,
Trump.
these guys were so loved. I mean, once, and now what happened, right? So that,
Yeah.
like, I was thinking about
Well,
it.
it's
Yeah.
a swing. It's a pendulum. It's a pendulum. They were loved, and then we hated them, then we love them, and now we hate them. Yeah.
And you know what? I guess at the end of the day, it's what politicians are, right? They change their stance, they change it, and so do we, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I can tell you what right now, Brian, he's going to do a rollback. He's like Walmart. Prices are falling, right? Tariffs are falling. He'll do a rollback, and then I'll say, "Shit, I like him again," right? Just the way it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
So
You
anyway.
know, yeah, I wake up, I'm indecisive too. I can't even choose what I want for breakfast. And my poor fiance, don't even get me started on that. Like, where do you want to go for dinner, honey? I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm feeling. Like Chinese, Mexican. It's like it's hard to choose. Because then you're like
can't
you're
eat
stuck
Chinese
with it.
anymore. You tariffed them.
Oh yeah, forgot. Yeah, forgot. We hate them. I forgot.
Okay.
That's funny.
So my topic
Anyway,
is
go, Colin.
totally different.
Good. It's like a parrot.
Mine
It's like
is
4 or 5 episodes in a row. Poor
Mine-
Canada.
mine is called likely spam. So and the reason I'm going to say it is
Spam likely. Mm.
no, my phone rings and the number comes up and it says likely spam, the caller ID, right?
Oh, it says that?
Yeah, that's true,
Yeah.
right? Oh, likely spam. I'm not answering it,
Yeah.
right?
Possibly spam is what they should have said.
Yeah. And then I might answer it. So my whole thing is, what do you do? And this goes down to robocalls. It goes down to data centers making their whatever it may be. A few years ago, they passed some laws. There were some fines. They said, "Hey, no more spam calling," that type of thing. Right now, in my specific province, I can have a phone ring and it will say Calgary, Alberta, right? It's 100% lie. And right.
Mm.
And then you
get those
answer it.
too.
And I can't even, and it's not even a dialect thing. I can't understand. The person doesn't know how to say my name. I don't know what that is. That's not the problem. It's why is this allowed to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And so that brings me to, in my life of business development or business ownership, even, it gets harder and harder to connect with people because, and this comes to the authentic hustle, right? Authenticity matters, right? So I look at my phone and I go to missed calls. They're not missed calls. I missed them on purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They should have a different name for that, right? There should be 3 columns, right? So what do? You do not answer. You let it go to voicemail. Guess what? There is no voicemail. They've never left you a message. You block the number.
I mean, that's not important.
Right? I block the number all the time, as many times as I possibly can. You can report it. I don't report it because who are you reporting it to?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine on the other end, that person who took the job? So what do you do, sir? I receive the other end. I analyze spam calls. And what do you do with that? Nothing. Well, Doge would get rid of that department, and I agree. Right? That's not even a department. So you report it. No good. Use a block calling app. You can do that where it's screening them. And stay cautious. So at the end of the day, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you feel like you're being abrupt or rude, or are they being rude? Right? Like
Kelly, you answer that one.
Yeah,
I know. I can hear. I can't even see your face because I don't.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mode. I already know you're boiling over.
I have a few options, but like, go ahead.
I I just did a show about this. Literally, was just talking about this exact thing. And that, I would say 90% of the business owners I talk to, when I ask them, do you answer your phone? The answer is no. They don't answer their phone. And I don't blame them, because same with me, like 8 out of 10 calls, they're spam. And I know for a fact that if it's not spam and it's important, that person is either going to, 1, leave me a voicemail, or 2, shoot me an email, right? So I do kind of feel like potentially the days of answering your phone are long gone, and it really is these spam calls to blame.
Yeah,
absolutely. And debt collectors.
Yeah, innovating in the space in the calling voice AI. I mean, that's what we are innovating on. I mean, not a shout out to conversion, but I'm saying even otherwise, it takes a minute to create a number, Kelly. Right? You want in what area code do you want?
Strict on that.
Do you want in the Vancouver or like Alberta, Edmonton, 780-587, whatever the numbers you want? Takes a minute to create a number, any number in any area code. So it's likely spam. So we all ignore the calls. I think something I was talking to a friend. I think one particular option I think that people could leverage is call your telecom provider or log into your telecom account page and see. I think there is an option to call control, and either Bell or Telus or Verizon or AT&T. I think you can go to your account or call them and say, "Hey, put me on call control," so that the robo because robo cannot dial numbers immediately. That is a temporary option, but it's going to filter out at least like 70% of the spam calls. They have to press a number. Okay, press 1 to talk to the person. They have enabled call control. Press 1 to talk to the person. So that kind of like
that's what that is.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
I actually was like, why is this guy making me press that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's call control.
Funny enough, actually, voice AI could press the number.
It could. I mean, like we can detect we can do it.
We can. Voice AI can also leave a voicemail.
Yeah. We know how to overcome that because we're innovating in the space. We are good. But I'm just saying for anyone worried about not receiving too many spam calls in a day, they can enable that with the telecom provider. So that is an option available.
BJ, don't tell anyone else. Don't tell anyone else how to do it, okay?
Okay, yeah. Done.
We won't. Done.
I do like that. And you know what? I would not mind if voice AI was calling me. If they have the ability to do that, because on the back end, like say a conversion or whoever, you've done the proper steps. It's not spam, right?
No,
you actually have something specifically that end user could use, right? It's up to them whether they choose to or not. But you're not, like, to me, spam is like, I don't even know what they're trying to sell. I don't even know.
No, they're just going off numbers. It's a numbers game. They're trying to, like, 100 calls, you get this, and this. And so they're just trolling the water, dragging, searching for gold.
Anyway, so that's my topic of the day, right? It's one of the things that's bothering me. And now that VJ told me I can do call control, I no longer have an issue. So I just say, next caller, you're on the air.
Next caller. No, I think.
Sorry.
It's funny. Go ahead,
I
Kelly.
just want to add
go ahead.
quick thing to this, and that is you know, if you're taking away like a business development perspective from this exact discussion, you know, 80% of calls at this point are going to voicemail, and this is exactly why. And so everybody in the business development space, sales space, you guys need to get better than you have ever gotten at leaving voicemails. Hey, it's John with XYZ company. Give me a call back when you get a chance. Nobody's calling that back anymore. So you guys need to like amp it up, get excited, put a smile on your face, and leave voicemails that people actually want to call back, because that is the world we live in today.
100% agree.
So I've
the
got
worst is the. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say voicemail drops, and they'll just pre-recorded voicemails. They don't have no name. Make sure you say the person's name in the voicemail.
So I've got a good little story. For personal reasons, I buy a Calgary Home Lottery ticket every year. Right? They give away houses, they give away condos in Canmore, they give away all these things. But because of where the money is supposedly supposed to be going, and I believe it does, it's a good cause. So every year I do, and I don't win. So last year, my phone rings, and it says Calgary Home Lottery, and I actually my heart skipped a little bit. Ooh, I think no joke.
Retire.
I got a little sweaty, and you know, I'm like this. I'm like, good afternoon, Colin speaking, and they're like, Colin, yes, and this is the Calgary Home Lottery. How can I help you? And they said, we noticed you haven't bought a ticket yet this year. I'm like, you buggers. Right?
Oh.
You thought you won?
That's not even nice.
Oh yeah,
I
I
thought
not even nice.
I thought it was like the Ed McMahon sweepstakes. Like I thought I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And so this is why it's like a spam call to me. So they're like, well, are you gonna buy one? Well, of course I am. Right. So I dropped
Not right now.
I give them my credit card, $250, right?
Yeah.
So
I got you.
Same thing, right?
That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
It should have said possible spam or whatever. It shouldn't. So anyway,
I might have won the lottery.
One could argue though that an actual person from Calgary called you.
Yeah.
Which is a very different thing as well, right? Like I get really annoyed because I get calls from TELUS all the time, and we have, you know, TELUS Home Services.
Right.
But it's never TELUS. It's like the spammers are spoofing
TELUS. It's not.
Are you kidding me? Like
it's
actually, yeah.
I love that too. They're like, I'm calling from TELUS, and I'm like, I have TELUS already. So can I offer you this? No, I don't think you understood. My TELUS account is 187-342. That's it. Well, I can offer you a better offer. Well, then you're not TELUS.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's funny.
I think the AI guys need to start selling cell service.
Yeah, there you go.
Cell service?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Anyway.
To like sales companies. Oh, yes.
Become the telecom provider. Yeah.
I'll go back to the cold call. It is so powerful. You know, it's Kelly, interesting that you say that they don't answer their phone anymore. So sales strategy, much like business development, is a strategy, and you're trying to find their preferred mode of communication. Some people want to text, some people want a LinkedIn message, some want an email, some want, you know, a call, some want, hey, leave a voicemail, I'll call you back. Some will, you call your receptionist, whatever it is. You need to find out what the way to communicate with them. If you call someone, they don't answer, we'll try something else, you know, and try another channel. Go around the back door and try there. But the Salesforce actually came up with a study. I think it was like take 8 or 9 attempts to actually get someone on the phone, the decision maker.
Yeah.
And the funny enough, I'm actually the exact opposite of you guys. I love robocalls. I want them. Call me. And the reason for that is it's a guilty, oh no. My thing died, sorry. So anyway, I love them because I want to see their strategy. and I have a guilty pleasure. And every time you answer, you hear the little boop because it's transferring them to a person. Because all it is on an auto alert. They're calling numbers and they're waiting. They're waiting for somebody to answer and pick up. I wait. I give them the moment to come on the line. They said, "Hello, is this Brian?" I said, "Yes, this is Brian." They're like, "Oh, Brian, how are you doing today?" I say immediately, Sal, skipping a beat, "Did you just call me to ask how I was doing?" You can hear the gears in their head. Like, I don't know how to answer that. That's not on my script. And I just eat it up. But besides that, I'm not that terrible. But it's my favorite. The best is when the salesperson can overcome that. I love it. It's only happened one time. He said, "Actually, yes, because I knew you were having a shitty day and I wanted to give you a call." He said that, and I was like, "What you selling? What you selling, bro? What you selling? I'm buying it."
That's pretty good.
But I want to hear the strategy, and I also want to hear what people are experiencing, because voice AI it's immediately on the phone. Like, AI is actually calling concurrently, so it can dial, let's say, 5 different phones at the same time, 10 different phones, 1 million different phones at the same time, calling different people and speak. It's mind-blowing. But there is no pause, there's no beep, there's no nothing. It's just intelligent conversations with AI.
Yeah.
It's spectacular.
All right.
I want to go back to your comment with Salesforce talking about statistics, because I've been tracking statistics at Capital since we started working, and we've averaged 11. And so I always recommend you need to make at least 10 reach outs before you give up. And the shitty thing is, most business developers are giving up after 2. The statistic is we quit at 2,
1,
and it takes
1.
10.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, the leads are lists are terrible. But 11 calls, or is that email, phone,
it's 11
LinkedIn?
direct contacts. So direct email or direct phone.
I mean, for
calls and emails.
For cold outreach, I think, not a plug. I think the real value is, like, any business owner, all they need today is with what we're providing is they need a spreadsheet. That's it. You have 1,000 contacts, 10,000 contacts, no problem. We can, you plug it in, it instantly start calling like 20 people at a time. And then you keep getting all the transcripts recording after, right? Instant value. And we hate to plug it, but it's not a plug. It's more of like, okay, if any business owner
just plugged it. I didn't plug it. You gotta have. We gotta work on your sales strategy. That's obvious plug. You gotta say what I said. Just have intelligent conversations with AI, and then just bat your eyes and. Oh, BJ, it's funny.
All right.
Go ahead, Kelly. Yeah.
I'm going to lead us into some value today. Today we're talking about the great Brian Tracy, for everybody who knows who he is. If you don't know who he is, you live under a rock.
Who?
Brian Tracy. All right. I want to chat today about something called the Pareto Principle, and it's also known as the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is a tried and true principle that can help you set up your life for success. You can apply it to all aspects of your life, from personal projects, health, finances, and even relationships. And what is it? According to BrianTracy.com, the 80-20 rule, otherwise known as the Pareto Principle, is one of the most helpful concepts for life and management. The Pareto Principle states that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. However, it's not a hard and fast mathematical law.
Say that again? Say that again? Oh,
20% of your activities account for 80% of your results. So there's 2 out of 10 things that you're doing today that'll have the biggest impact on your business. The key to following the 80-20 rule is to identify roughly 20%, or 2 of 10, of your actions or tasks that lead to the most success. This can apply to any area of your personal or professional life. And how do we use this in day-to-day? Brian Tracy says it's not uncommon to see people who appear busy all day long. We all know that person, but they seem to accomplish nothing or very little. This is almost always because they're very busy working on the tasks that are of low value. When they are procrastinating on the 1 or 2 activities that could make the biggest difference, we tend to put off the 2 activities that have the biggest impact in our life. As business developers, that's probably our cold calls and our emails, right? The most valuable tasks that you can do each day are often the hardest and most complex. They're the ones we're avoiding, but the payoff and rewards for completing them are tremendous. The rule of this is to resist the urge to clean up the small things. I've always in my business, I always have the top things to do today. I write it down on my notepad every day, and I write out, like I said, between 5 and 10 tasks. And I always make sure that the 2 top tasks, the 1 and 2, are always the things that are going to have the biggest effect in my life. And if you do this, the results are absolutely tremendous. And I just wanted to share that with people today, because I think this is very, very valuable to seriously increase, your efficiency in a day-to-day task.
Would it be the move the needle, Kelly? I mean, just asking you, similar to that. Like, what do you want to accomplish?
That's right.
Move the needle. Oh, got it.
Yeah, it's what are the two? What are the two? What, like with move the needle, right? When I do move the needle, my move the needle is my weekly thing. So I write down like a weekly goals list. I call it move the needle, and I'll write out, let's call it the top 10 things that I need to do to move the needle for my business this week, right? But then I actually break that down even further, Vijay, and on a day-to-day basis, I have the top things to do today, and I'll move the things from move the needle into my daily tasks so that I make sure that I'm focusing on one of them every single day, right? But by doing that,
do you have a to-do list?
Correct.
To tell you to do the to-do list?
No,
you have a to-do list.
No,
we gotta do the to-do list.
We got to go back. Go back to written notes, guys. Go back to written notes. I get it.
How many notepads?
I can
how many
show
notepads
you
you have? Hold on. Yep. To-dos. All those pages.
That's
that
right.
one's empty.
There we go. There we go. Yeah,
I also have a little whiteboard. This is my favorite. These are the important ones. Put on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
They need to be done first. These are kind of like, hey, I need to do it like this week.
But how do you prioritize it though, Brian? Because if you got notes going on in your whiteboard and you got notes going on in your book, why don't you just put them in your book?
Well, those are like, yeah, I guess you could. I guess I put it in the book to kind of like write it out and just like think it out. And the whiteboard are like quick, like it's like do this like next.
That's a
or
task.
Immediately, like it's
task.
Like it's like quick. But these are like it's like a planned. Like this needs to be done for the business. We need to do this. We need to do this. So it's like me thinking out what are the long-term steps after the task. You know? So there's a to-do list for the day, and then there's a task list.
Yeah,
you know?
So you have a weekly goals list, and then you have a to-do list for the day. Exactly.
That's like weekly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just teasing you. To-do list for the to-do list.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyone listening, anyone listening, I mean, if they're in an office environment and if they're in back-to-back meetings, boardrooms, like non-stop meetings, I mean, the best way to find more time in any given day is like decline the meetings. Decline the meetings that is not adding even 1% value to your current day. Just you don't have to be in the meeting because your boss asks you to be in that meeting. It doesn't add any value to your current day. You cannot accomplish anything just being in the meeting. So I would say the physical presence doesn't add any value. So I would say find time and like declining more meetings. Yeah.
Have a meeting for a meeting.
The add-on that I would put to that, VJ, is also schedule your tasks, right? So for instance, if you need to make your calls today, instead of just being like, I'm going to make my calls today, block out a time between like 9 and 11 when you're going to make your calls.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is actually my cold call hour. Way to go, Kelly. I mean, literally. Kidding. No, this is lunch for me. This is lunch.
You know,
that's funny.
Well, one of the things I think important too with this rule, if you will, is I went through the corporate world and that's fine, but the meetings to have meetings because there's set meetings. And then one of the worst things you can do is we're just going to put this in the parking lot for the next meeting. Right. And traditionally or historically that and VJ, I think you've probably heard that phrase quite a bit, right? We'll just put this in the parking lot. We'll come
Yeah.
back to it. We'll circle back. You know what?
Yeah.
If we can't deal with it right now, we probably don't need to, right?
Yeah.
Or we can delegate it to somebody
Yeah.
that can do it, right? And it may be more important for them or something they can handle quicker.
Yeah.
But that's part of this rule that I think where, Kelly, we get bogged down, right? Burning away time, burning away effort, not on what's important.
Correct.
Right.
And I think as business
Yeah.
owners, we get pulled in so many different directions that it is really important to recenter and ask yourself, what is going to move the needle for my business? Like, you know, there's 1,000 tasks that you could do, right? Every day, there's 1,000 things I could be doing, but there's probably only 2 or 3 that would make a massive impact in my day. And what we need to get better at is saying, I'm going to prioritize those 2 to 3 big things so that every day we're moving the needle for our business.
And you know what, those tasks, I think what I find successful for myself is evaluating if they're real, right? Are they something that actually needs to be done? There's a bunch of things we can do, right?
Yeah.
Does it actually need to be done? Is it actually going to move that needle, as VJ would say, right? Is it moving the needle?
Are you
If
just
it
revving
isn't,
the engine or are you driving?
it's true, right? It's irrelevant. Are you just in idle, right? And I think that's important because the number one thing of Doge, which I really like, is productivity, right?
Yeah.
The reason
Efficiency.
it's called efficiency, right? It's productivity. If I'm not efficient from when I hit the ground running in the morning till I stop, whenever I decide that is, right? How efficient am I?
You stop.
Right? And I don't stop actually, but
I
did.
No, I knew you were going to say that. It's like, yeah, don't.
But the big but is what's important in that time zone, right?
Yeah.
Between start and finish, and I think that's where why I love the Pareto rule is that's it. It really makes sense of why some are successful, why some aren't.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe better said, how many successes we have in that time frame.
Yeah.
One could argue that like a small change in the way that you structure your day could have a monumental impact on your business and career by simply prioritizing the things that frankly you're probably avoiding.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what?
I play triage with my time.
I took a course a few years ago, and it was a U.S. military course. Actually took it in the U.S. Brian, you'll love that. And anyway, it was retired fighter pilots. It's called Afterburner. Phenomenal course. One of the biggest things they did, and it was a corporate thing, was saying that the smallest degree, no matter which way it's going, is either going to be negative or positive, right? So it doesn't take much to get off course, right? And they said, if you're off course 1 degree and you're in an F-18 or whatever you're in, you're done. It's over, right? You're dead.
Yeah, because you keep going in that wrong direction.
Right. And it's not just 1 degree. It's that 1 degree that continues to go off the screen.
Yeah.
Right. And in that Pareto principle is the same thing, right? You just continue to go off the screen and you're, in that lower end of it. And that's how you win or you lose. And that's my blue sky thing on it, right? It can very easily just elevate to the top and you can stay above that 80%. I was never in the 80 percentile in grade school, right? But I am in effort, right? I can do it and the results come because of it, right? It's super.
A for effort? You got an A for effort?
A for effort. I got effort.
A for effort. Yeah, I know.
All right. We got to move this. We got to move this along.
We got one thing. So I'll say, let me tie all that together and make it the most simplest as possible for you to understand and apply it to your life. I learned it in health and fitness when I was a personal trainer. You are going to get better doing the things not only that are hard, but that you are purposely avoiding. So I would tell my clients, okay, we got 10 reps. And they would get to 8. And I would count 8, 8, 8. And they would stop. And I said, 8, 8. And I would keep counting it and make them do a few more reps. So you don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. But it's then they saw the progression that much faster, and they would have a lot more fun. So you don't think of the things that you're avoiding as like a punishment or as negative. Turn it into a positive and try and not enjoy the process, because that's what everyone says, but just enjoy like the effort that you're putting into it and the feeling of accomplishment after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's tied it up right there.
Brian, we kind of pinned you down today on the US stuff. Lead us into your topic today.
My topic? It's about tariffs.
Good thing we only have 5 minutes left.
I know. I was looking at the clock. I'm like, thanks, Kelly. 5 minutes. So my topic is actually, going to take a lot longer than 4 minutes.
That's okay. What it takes.
Go ahead.
So, when you wake up in the morning, what is that routine like? Because I think Colin had said that just like it was in your statement, is if you don't start on the right foot. Mm-hmm. But the morning routine needs to be a ritual, and it needs to be, something, not something you enjoy, but it is something that you do every single day regardless. And it's like it clarifies your day. Like, great example, making your bed. That is the most important. It's your first accomplishment for the day. Or not hitting snooze. That's your first accomplishment of the day. Why would you decide to fail straight out of the gate? Or, maybe your spouse did something that was annoying. Why would you fight with them in the morning? You're going to ruin your day and their day. So it's like, what is your morning routine? Because mine is I'm an early riser. Poor VJ, I already know what he's going to say. He's not an early riser. his morning routine is sleeping in. No, I'm just kidding. But do you have a thing that you do every morning that kind of sets up your day? That is not something you look forward to, but you just do.
That's a really.
I'm
good
gonna say Kelly.
Well, I have a 1-year-old son, so usually I haven't slept very good. So you were saying how you start your day.
Forgot about that.
Usually a little tired, but this is just the stage of life that I'm in, right? Over the past couple of weeks, Jed hasn't been sleeping well, so it's a bit of a tough one. But no, typically I get up. The first thing I tend to do is actually go downstairs and have a coffee. I like to just start my day on a nice level. I will typically check my calendar to figure out what I have for today, because everything in my life is in a calendar that's scheduled pretty ridiculously, but it works well for me. And then I'll pack the boys' lunches for school, because once again, parent. I have a lot of duties in my life that have nothing to do with work and business. So there's a lot of things that tend to happen on a weekly basis in our house that have nothing to do with work. But I'll tell you what, depending on the day, I do tend to get up, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I will go and complete some work ahead of starting. So I am typically starting my day with some type of work, whether that be, creating some sponsor posts, or whether
you don't have to always do work, because your family is a part of your work.
Well,
they're the reason you do it.
It's about splitting it up. So like I said, I might start the day at let's call it 6, where I have a little bit of work to do. I've checked my calendar. I'm having my coffee. I'm updating some stuff for the podcast, or I'm prepping for my day. Then I go and help the boys with their lunches and get them ready for school. I might help Shelby with Jet or whatever he needs, right? Because Shelby works too. So it's a lot of shared family responsibility. But, right now, I think everybody's in whatever part of their life that they're in, and you don't have to apologize if, unfortunately, at this point in time for you, a lot of your morning routine is focused on helping your family. I know there's a lot of people who, maybe feel guilty about that, or wish that they could start work a little sooner. But I want you to understand that you only get this one chance, or this one time with your little kids. And I encourage all parents to make the most of it.
Yeah.
And what I can
1
say,
minute, 60 seconds. Ready, go.
No, Brian, you finish it. It's your.
I finished it. I'm closing it. All right. So my morning routine is moving your body. I mean, you're living in it. It's like your car. It's like not taking your car for an oil change. 45 minutes of continuous movement. Now it's not strenuous, you know. Some days I feel I just kind of listen to my body. Being a personal trainer, I kind of know where I'm at, where I'm living in, you know. And some days I'll just do the executive workout. It's hot tub, steam room, you know. But it's not. It's just 45 minutes of just moving around. It's not so much. I don't want to say, Kelly, you need some of your time, but it's like the time of the day where it's the only time I get a choice.
Yeah.
Because when we work, a lot of times we do the things that we don't like to do.
Yeah.
So you need to have that reward system.
I love that. I think one of the struggles that
yeah.
I've had, Brian, is that I tend to get up early and get to work because I don't want to be working till 9 o'clock at night. And I still, yesterday is a great example. I got to bed at like 8 o'clock at night. I walked into the bedroom. I apologized to Shelby for working so late. It just was the day. I started the day yesterday at 6 a.m. I finished my day at 9 o'clock at night. And I find too that not all days are like that, but
yeah,
I do tend to work in the morning because I don't want to work late at night, and I do a lot. Every single day has a lot of tasks that have to be done in order to keep this whole machine moving forward.
Yeah.
As much as I would love,
do you do something in the day that you like? Like you like something? Like you enjoy? You do something for you?
See,
like
that's the thing.
reward?
I like what I do for work, right? Which is an interesting thing. I think a lot of entrepreneurs maybe feel that way, where I get a lot of value. But yeah, like finding that personal time in a day to do that workout like I used to, as much as I would love to do it, it's very hard to find that time.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to no, it's like, I think there's at some point in your career, I think you actually, I've been like waking up in the morning and showing up at office and so many things for years. And at one point you decide like none of this actually matters. What really matters is you wake up on a Wednesday morning, you want to go to Canmore, you should be able to do that. I think that is what you want to be able to do. I mean, because I don't think we are here to impress anyone. Right? Because like for me personally, I've seen myself to be more productive in the afternoons and the evenings, but I don't have to apologize for that to anyone. And because you're an early riser, because the society says certain things in certain ways, because like I don't buy that actually at all. You're productive in your afternoon.
I just wake
up. That's it.
I wish I could sleep in.
That's it. I mean, like it's. I think it's like a night and day, right? I mean, it's what it is. So I like what you're saying, Brian, but at the same time, I think people are different. I mean, like even look at your fingers. Yep. Not even the 5 fingers are not even different, are the same. So it's people think differently. I would say.
Hey, VJ.
Oh, absolutely. Do what's good for you.
Yeah. One thing I heard that really resonated. I'm an early riser, which is different than some. One fella I heard on a podcast, I believe, he said. I don't buy into that. I got to drink 4 liters of water before 6 a.m. I've got to do my 10 gratitudes. And he said, ask me when I wake up. So the guy asked, and he said, when my body's ready to get up.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
For him. And here's the other thing that I do for myself is I'm like Kelly. I think I worked till about 9:30 last night, had some time in between. I'm not complaining, but this is what I choose to do.
Yeah.
But I very, very, very seldom call it work. Right. I don't call it work. I don't believe in the 9 to 5, the 10 to 7, the whatever it may be. This is just what I do. And I feel I'm blessed to be able to do it.
Have a lifestyle.
Show up? Yeah, I show up at my office because I like that. I like my office. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm there. That's just part of the day. The rest of it is my wife would always say to me, oh, you get to go for coffee whenever you want. Well, you drink coffee at your desk. My desk just might be at Starbucks. My desk might be driving around with a client. My desk might be wherever, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I agree 100% is your routine is your routine.
Yeah.
And the term routine doesn't mean a strict regimen of training.
Repetition of something. It's repetition
right?
of something.
Yeah.
But you just stay healthy. That's all.
Well, and I'm going to make the comment that your routine can change and it's all in cycles, right?
Seasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So right now, yeah, I'm putting in a lot of hours and I really have for the last year. Does that mean I'm going to do that forever? No. But it means that right now I'm prioritizing big gains, right?
Yeah.
That
That's
right.
doesn't mean I'm always going to prioritize them, but it's okay to do what you need to do to grow your business however you so desire.
Right.
All
Right.
right. Well, dudes, 12:04.
We're done with this show. I'm taking out my tie.
Can I add one
Jamie's
one
dressed
thought
up,
to it? Can I
Kelly.
add just one thought to it? I mean, just that being said, I think we are also like spending weekends, Saturdays, and Sundays working 16-hour Saturdays or 16-hour Sundays.
Yeah.
We are not waiting for a Monday or a Friday. We just like, oh, we want to work, we just work. But if you want to take Wednesday, Thursday off, we do that by absolute means, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I think that's the kind of the freedom or whatever I think that your schedule gives you. I think I would love that. Yeah. That's,
And you know what? The other one is too. I often say to people, I work every day that ends in a Y. Right?
Mm.
That's true.
And then I add on to that, I work on every day that ends in a Y because I want to.
Yeah. That's good.
Because I want
Love
to.
it.
You got to do something you want to.
Anyway,
Love it.
Well,
Thank you.
I think we're done. Let's wrap her up.
Let's wrap it up. Hey, who wants to wrap it up? Like, am I doing it? Or?
You're
Okay,
right.
let's. Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. Hope you found some value in today's conversation. Drop in your likes and cheers. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Bye. Bye, everybody.
See you Wednesday.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, we're done? Okay.
Good.
Colin just laughed. He's like, I'm out.
So funny.
Well, that's fine.
Hold on. Was that? Hold on. I can't see. Oh man, my phone almost died. The thing kept like the thing. So this is like a little pedestal it was on.
Yeah.
It died. It's a Bluetooth thing, so I
Oh.
could move it. I could kind of like your gesture thing,
Yeah.
and I could have.